Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we are going to discuss about converting a WordPress website to a static site. So what you're seeing here is my own website, and I have decided to convert this to a static website. So this website is currently built with WordPress, and after a bit of consideration, I wanted to convert this to a static website. So the reason why I wanted to do this is many reasons. So one of the reasons is performance. Even though the current site uses caching, there's still an issue with the hosting, and I've been told by the hosting that lots of hits, uh, and it has an impact on the hosting. Currently, it's on a shared hosting, and they complain about um, too much traffic, and most of them are bots or useless. And I thought, so how can I improve this? And I think static site is one of the options. And another reason, which is I think is a very sensible reason, is that um, hosting is expensive. It is becoming more and more expensive over the time, and paying for this site, I think, is probably not needed. Obviously, if you have to pay for the hosting, you have to. That's part of the business, part of the other overhead cost. But in this case, I think there's an alternative option that I can explore. Um, However, there is a consideration for every website is because it's a WordPress, and the language it's built with is PHP. So static sites, there is no dynamic part. That's why it's called static. So if you have any dynamic part, for example, contact form, um, you need a piece of PHP to run it and execute the code and send an email or do something with the contact details. So in my case, as a preparation for the transfer, I have decided to convert my contact us form to a Google form, which means I don't need to execute any PHP code on the server. Um, Obviously, there are other options that you can use. There are lots of form providers. You have to, consider your data requirement, and if you're happy to store your contact details with a third-party provider, then feel free to do so. In my case, I decided to go with Google because I have been using Google um, anyway, with my email and other services. So it comes handy for me to use Google, and I can get the inquiries, piled into a spreadsheet. So that's why I decided to go. Okay, so what is the process? Is how it's going to work, and how do we maintain the site? You may ask. So the plan is to convert the site to static and upload onto Cloudflare, and because Cloudflare supports static sites, and I don't have to pay for the hosting because it's still free tier, and they only pay for the domain, which is like a tenner for the whole year. So it comes really, really cheap to host the site. However, how do we maintain the content? So you see, there are some text you can edit, or you have to edit, and there's a blog area that you may have to add more blog posts, etc. So the way I'm going to do this is I will have a copy of the current website somewhere, maybe locally on my machine, which I will extend which I will add, which I will maintain over the time, and then I will convert to static site, then upload onto the server. Um, it might sound a bit complicated, but it is really, really simple because the creating the static site and uploading onto the server is so easy. So this is the WordPress backend, and the plugin I'm going to use is called Simply Static. So let's get into the process. So we're going to do the transfer together. So the step one is convert the site, create static files, and then upload them onto the Cloudflare, and then set up the domain. So these are the steps that we're going to do together. Okay, so let's begin with the creating the static files.